This is one of those, like most would say, it's like kind of like an underrated or not really as well known of firearm for some people. I know it's still currently being made. This is my Sig SP2022. Now mine's in 40 Smith and Wesson because I went on Gunbroker years and years ago, and I had the slide Cerakoted to be black because it was stainless. And eventually I'll change the optics. This was our metal guns that I think is like underrated by a lot of people. If you can get the 9mm one, it has the stupid little loaded chamber indicator. But there's something I want to try with this one to see, because like depending on how things go, this, just like some of your 40 Smith & Wesson Glocks, and you can find conversion barrels from. You can find the 357 SIG conversion barrel. They're a bit harder to find right now. Get out of here, bugs. But if you're looking for something that can do a little do-it-all for like camping, hiking, and home defense, get the freak out of here, bugs. Good Lord. Let's see how well I shoot it. Now, in the film, it's going to be a bit snappier, and I am obviously freaking terrible today. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the slide apart because my dad has the 9mm one, and I'm going to swap the barrel because from what I've read, this one is one of the few that you don't really need a conversion barrel. You can just buy a 9mm barrel and swap it. So I'm going to try that, and we're going to test it out with about 20 rounds. Okay, so I swapped it over. One of the things I did forget to say that I did to my 2022 Unhabit Cerakoted was I did buy a steel or stainless steel guide rod instead of the plastic one it had. I just tend to like steel guide rods. It's one of the things I like of the Langan Tactical Beretta that I got, the 92 Compact, compared to my RDX 92X Compact. Actually, I think it's RDO. Good Lord, the bugs are just annoying out here. So it fit in, and it cycled. Now, as you can see, I might have to get this in later to get a picture of it. It's got that little chamber indicator because it's supposed to have something rest on there. Get out of here, bugs. So let's see if the recoil spring is a little too powerful for what it is. Got a little sidetrack there and didn't realize how many were in it. I have no clue how many I actually put in here. And by the way, like I did with my one Glock, I am using 40 Smith & Wesson mags for it. And this one needs a little upkeep because it's got some spots on it. I'll take some barkeeper's friend. So this is the last of the Blazer aluminum cased ammo that I have. And yeah, it was just the Prodigy that had some issues with it. Get out my face, bug. So yeah, I would say that the Sig SP2022 is a pretty underrated gun if you can find one. If you're a fan of the old 40 Smith & Wesson, I recommend it because, like I said, you can always go and find the 357 SIG barrel. Granted, ammo for that is going to be exponentially harder to find. But then you can go to SIG's direct website because they do still sell the barrel because they actually still sell the gun. And you can do a drop-in barrel with, as you saw, I didn't replace, well, you didn't see me change it, but the only thing I swapped was the barrel. So I'm actually going to be looking to buying a 9mm conversion, or take a 9mm barrel for this, so I can do basically my own conversion to shoot this more. Yeah, for a polymer frame gun that you can probably find for relatively inexpensive used, I would say it's an underrated. I mean, granted, yeah, you don't get optic cuts, it doesn't have night sights, it doesn't have all the bells and whistles, but it's still a gun, and it'll still shoot.
Okay, so as I was saying in the shooting video of my Sig SP2022, I believe this is a pretty underrated gun, especially my 40 Smith & Wesson version, which I know next to no one's going to look for than like probably 6 people because most people don't like 40 anymore. But one of the nice things about it is you can take, or you can go and buy for like under $200 a 9mm barrel for the 9mm variant, and you can buy 9mm mags if you want to, and just you can still use the 40 Smith & Wesson, kind of like on the my Glock, I was able to use the 40 Smith & Wesson mags on my 9mm. I did have one failure to feed properly, which was weird, so still don't know on that one. But we'll see if I can, make the safety pool mad for my disassembly, since I have to put my hand in front of the barrel of an empty gun. So the only things I've done to this gun is I had the slide Cerakoted because it was a stainless, and I believe I had the guide rod made for me by a friend, well, by one of my dad's coworkers actually, that I for the most part know. But we'll see if that wire stays out of the way. That's supposed to lock in here, right here earlier for some odd reason. Where did I put this? How well it can be seen, there's a little wire right here that's kind of spring retention that's meant to go into this little spot here, and was just causing me issues because it popped too far out. Probably should have left that part of the video, or to use that part of the video, but I don't think I'm going to. Yeah, so the nice thing is come on, lock in. There we go. Quite literally, that was all I had to do. And it works as it's supposed to. Now, the only downside to the modern SIG 2022s, in my personal opinion, is it does have that, most of them I believe are made with that stupid little hinged loaded chamber indicator on that. So you're going to have a little gas escaping from here, but since this thing isn't cut for an optic, it's kind of a no big whoop. I mean, I'm pretty sure for that loaded chamber indicator, you could take a punch and pop the pin out and pull that out if you wanted to. That is a personal opinion on that. But I do know for this thing, eventually I'm going to look for a 357 SIG barrel and buy an actual 9mm barrel for it, because I think conversion barrels are cool, and having a gun that can do more than just the one caliber is also pretty darn cool in my opinion. Hence my reasoning for believing that the 30 Super Carry was such a failure. One, because it came out during a pandemic, and two, you could not readily convert any of your standard 9mm over to 30 Super Carry. Now that's probably something for an entirely different video that probably won't be on this channel. Do not tell me you popped out on me again. All right, come on. Don't. Good Lord. That took way more than it should have. I have never had the problems with this thing like that before, so it's probably also due to the fact that I haven't, until shooting this thing, I hadn't taken it out in probably 5 years or more, hadn't cleaned it. Like, I think I've taken better care of the 228 or M11 that I got from an old coworker in the service, which, another cool gun that I'll have to do a video on sometime. But yeah, fun gun. It's going to be snappier, obviously, or have a bit more recoil with the 40 Smith & Wesson, probably more with a 357 SIG, but with the 9 for a polymer single action, double action pistol, pretty nice. Great gun that you could carry if you wanted to. You'd have to change the sights. This one's just got the regular white dots, which is weird because SIG usually puts night sights on their gun. But I also bought this back in like 2011, or no, 2012-ish or so. Yeah, a fun gun from my collection, and to kind of go from take a page from Spin Firearms. I think it's an underrated gun that if you're just looking for something, you could probably pick up for relatively inexpensive. I don't know what mags it'll actually, what holsters it'll fit into. And mags can be a little difficult to find because they're not readily available, but I want to say I think this is supposed to basically be a polymer version of like the 226, but I could be wrong. So don't quote me on that one. But I've been wrong before in the past, and I'll be wrong again in the future. So thanks for watching. If you're looking for, just a underrated gun that you can kind of do whatever with, I recommend a 40 Smith & Wesson. You can usually find the conversion barrels for them. Like I said, I'm pretty big on conversion barrels. So appreciate you guys. Have a great day.